All right, let's do this. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026. Let's start off with a look at the S&P, which started a little bit weak, but really we only got down to 69.05 at the low, bounced to 69.80, and we had a little teeny bit of cooling into the close, settling up 0.5%, 16.64. Upper Bollinger offers 7,031. That does look possible into the long weekend. I mean, look, we could easily close tomorrow above 7,000. That should be quite clear now. I would accept we have a downside gap there. That hasn't been tagged, right? That's a gap and go on Friday. But daily momentum is going to turn positive either tomorrow or Wednesday. And in theory, broadly up into the holiday. VIX, not much to say really. I mean, like 23s on Thursday, smashed on Friday. Initially higher this morning, but cooled back. Momentum's going to turn negative either on Tuesday or Wednesday. In theory, net bearish the VIX into the long weekend. Let's look at some individual stocks. Let's start with Apple. I mean, you can argue that it's just a bit of cooling from Friday's high. I would accept it's stalled at RSI 70, but it's had a good run. Doesn't have to go up every day. Archer Aviation high with the main market. Solid gain, very powerful gains for Agnico Eagle, up 6.7%. We've almost filled the gap from the Friday crash. And daily momentum's due to turn positive, not tomorrow, but on Wednesday. Wednesday is the jobs data. So the setup does lean net bullish into Wednesday for the miners and the metals. Again, we'll get to the metals later. First Majestic down 0.8, a little bit of chop. Should lean back upwards. First Majestic Silver up 8% because of silver itself. 27.90 in theory now looks like it could be taken out. I mean, yeah, not this week, but maybe next week. AMD up 3.6%. Again, one of these tech stocks that held the 200-day, much like NVDA. Amazon, Friday had a reversal candle which played out today. We did briefly turn positive. Today's candle is not a reversal. Barrack Mining, solid gains, 3%. It is a stock that lost the 50-day, which it didn't do in October and November. And we have a gap that goes all the way to the 52s. So it's a bit of it's not such a great stock right now, but you got to clear, you really need to just seek above 52. Going higher with the main market. I am going to skip some of these because they're not that important. Solid gains for Caterpillar, new historic high, leading the Dow upwards. I mean, look, it's 742. You got to wonder, can we start talking about? Oh, well, we can, right? Look, it was 500 in October, 509. It's now 742. It's up what? What is that? It's almost basically 50% since October. I mean, we can start to talk about $1,000, right? Right? Yeah, we can. CCJ has earnings on Friday, which should be fine. Up 6%. Momentum has just started to tick back upwards. Bullish in the March, in theory. Carnival just cooling back. Cleveland had earnings were garbage. They weren't good at all. I would accept that is a spike from key price threshold and the 200-day. So there's buyers out there. I mean, they were buying it in November from the 200-day. So you see, yeah, it's actually also they were kind of buying it. Actually, look, there was resistance. There was a breakout. Kind of support. Good support there. Good support there. But I unlike this. This is a mess. Coinbase up with crypto, and the main market is 145 a kilo. I mean, look, that would make for a capitulation. Earnings are due Thursday after hours, which should be fine. Deckers, still a bit of cooling. Disney down 1.4. Solid gains for Endeavor. Ford has earnings, I think, Tuesday after hours. Yeah, I just checked. Tuesday. I mean, it's something on the 50-day, but it is midterm bullish. Freeport higher with the rest of the miners. Google at 0.5. This was an ugly break last Friday, like Thursday. Yeah, this one broke on yeah, earnings were last Wednesday, so that's a Thursday candle. But it was a reversal. Daily momentum is not yet turned yet, but we're due, right? We're on the low end. Depot down 1%. Little Hector up 5%. Momentum started to tick upwards. Intel just a bit weak. Joby higher with the kind of higher with the main market. So you got to ask yourself a question: is 930 a kilo? I don't know. I mean, look, it's a fair old way just to get to the intersecting 200-day and 50-day. Remember, this drop was on the $1 billion capital raise. I mean, I'm pretty confident this is going to take out that high there. It's just a matter of when. KKR, solid day for the financials. KKR 4%. We do have apparently we have a spiky floor from Thursday's 97. In Morgan, that's probably a new strike high, I think. Cree, a little bit choppy. Skipping a few of these. Meta, don't care. MP Materials, solid gains for rare earth miners. Microsoft starting to power up. So look, we floored. We after all of this, right? We're building a floor from having filled orange gap. Soft target is green gap, and we have a lot of resistance here. Won't be easy to clear that. Don't care about Micron. NFLX, again, relative to the main market, this is garbage performance. So it did settle above the low, but that's still not great, right? And you can argue that's a baby bear flag. Nike had a rough day, down 2.4%. I will say this to me, this is a baby bull flag. If you assume that this low is a kilo, we should see this go up for the rest of the week to at least 66, which is $4, which is about what, 6% or so. But that does to me, I mean, even though it wasn't a great close, that's a baby bull flag. Something to watch tomorrow. NVDA up 2.5%. This is particularly bullish. We floored last Thursday from just above a 200-day. Now look at this. Daily momentum will turn positive at the Tuesday open. We should break above 194s, and 200 looks probable by the end of the week. Under solid gains, 6.7%. Note that the Thursday low was from a key price threshold. This is a key level, and off we go again. Just getting back to the recent 15s is a good 45, almost 50% higher. I like it. Pan American Silver up 6.8%, solid gains. I will say in this case, it did hold the 50-day pretty well, which it didn't do it, which ironically it did not do in October and November. So the sector held above the 50-day in October and November, but Pan American did not. And this time it's actually holding up a little better than the sector. Palantir up 5%. I wonder if Michael Berry is covering his short position. PayPal can't go down every day, right? Even PayPal gets to go up sometimes. QuantumScape, people were buying ahead of earnings. It's got a black candle, but that's momentum's also due to turn positive. So I think earnings are Wednesday. I'm gonna check. Yeah, Wednesday after hours. Well, the bold will be seeking roughly $12 soon. Solid gains for Red Cap. Transocean, I don't really care. I mean, until this company starts turning a profit, I can't take it seriously. Rocket Lab, solid gains of almost 5%. SMR, I mean, it's a little bit laggy. I mean, I was almost surprised it didn't go up 5-6% today. I mean, I still have basic target for 200 day around $30, which of course is about 60% up. Target, look at that, stuck at this price threshold. I do expect it to go to 145, but that probably is some months away. Tesla at 1.5%. It is one stock that did hold above a 200 day. Take two. Black candle on Friday has not played out. Up 4.8%. Soft target. There's a gap there to about 212, and you have this resistance threshold here, 218-ish. So yeah, short-term bullish. United Airlines was up. I don't care about that. United Health is still struggling. UPS, little choppy, little bit of weakness early morning, but the buyers did come in, and we have a new cycle high, 117. Almost actually did print 118. Wow. Exxon, new historic high. Impressive, right? Let's round off. Actually, we'll just jump to Bitcoin briefly. Bitcoin at 0.2, 70K. Soft target is 74 to 75K. That looks probable before the weekend. And we're going to look at gold and silver. Start with gold. According to stock charts, gold was up $95, 1.9% to 5,063. We're above the 10 MA again. Daily momentum ticked higher for a second day and is due to turn positive, not tomorrow. It's either to turn positive on Wednesday or Thursday. So it looks like the week is going to end on a positive note, and we could easily, I mean, in theory, we could just go straight up into the end of next week, right? We could just go straight up from here. We could even we could even be pushing above 56.08, which is $600 up. But we could do $200 or $300 before the weekend, which is a wild thought. But yeah, bullish gold. Silver. According to stock chart, silver was up $5.46, 7% to 83.44. Friday's candle is pretty good. It's a spike floor, and we've got some follow through. I will note that we have a lot of resistance around last week's high, which was 92. So we can get to 92. It looks like we're going to have I think we're going to be testing the 92s within the next day or two. More likely on Wednesday. I could do it tomorrow. But tomorrow or Wednesday. What else? And yeah, I will say daily momentum has just started to turn back upwards. It's clearly not going to turn positive until at least, well, so on the flip side of a long weekend. So it's, probably positive next weekend. And yeah, 121s might be taken out soon. I don't think it's going to happen before the end of the month. That doesn't look likely at all. But we could print that. We could be printing above 121 in March, and if we do, then after 121, you got to think. I mean, look at the gaps from the previous highs. Look at the highs: 54, 83s. So that's what, $29. Call it roughly $30 up, and we're up another almost $40. So 30, 40. Maybe we're looking at $50 in the next wave. So maybe 170, which I accept is crazy. But hey, look, if you told somebody when it was 54, silver would be $100 in Q1, at any point in Q1, they would have said that's unlikely. But look, we're on our way up again. And that again, that spike, that's a pretty powerful spike last Friday. That's a pretty good floor. And we had the confirmation today. We're back above the 50-day again. So it's like, okay, I think we're going to see silver 92, 93-ish within the next maybe day or two. I will end with a look at SLV, which I'm trading again. So SLV gapped up, which is what we got, this orange gap. It kept going into, there was a little bit of cooling around 1 o'clock. I jumped the board on that little spike there, and I'm currently long as of the close. I'm going to hope, my hope, and this is a vain hope, that either we get up to at least $80 tomorrow, which is $4. $4.76 is for 6%, yeah. Roughly 6% up would get you to roughly this high. But a grander target is getting to the 82s, which is where we stalled last Wednesday. And beyond 82, we're looking for about 89 and 90, which is that was the crashy gap down on the Friday. So I think it's pretty straightforward to get to 82, and then reasonably straightforward to get to 89 to 90. And it's going to get real tricky around 95. And of course, 109 is equivalent to 121 in commodity silver. Also, note the fact it was marked by a black candle. What a great, again, I can't emphasize these enough. Black candle marking a key top, short-term top marked by a black candle there, ahead of the Thursday smackdown. I'm wondering what will happen tomorrow. I'm thinking there's a chance. There's a chance that we could get, if there's an overnight gap up, we could get to 82s. That's a dream. So I would say that I would be mindful if we do gap, if we gap higher tomorrow, I would be mindful we might get a black candle and then cool back for a couple of hours. So, and if we do, I would look to settle on any black candle and then buy back, you know, either later on Tuesday or maybe after the jobs data on Wednesday. And I am twitchy about these two gaps. This is the Friday gap, and it might not be tagged. We might not come back to there. And then of course we have today's gap, which, in theory it might get tagged. So if we gap up tomorrow, I'll be watching for maybe a black candle and wondering if we still might come back down to orange gap on Thursday with the jobs data. But that sure as hell doesn't mean I would be short it. I would literally be just looking to buy it up again. But yeah, I'm on board the silver train again. God's help me. Anything else? Not really. We'll keep it short there. I think many people are already starting to think about the long weekend. I sure am. Yeah. Have a good evening.